Good morning, this is Mike in Detroit with another song example. Beginners, high beginners, intermediate players you can play in church. This is actually a song I heard yesterday in church, so I said to myself, we can arrange this for beginners or high beginners, intermediates. Because of Who You Are is another worship song. I think it's by Martha Manusci. Key is G. So obviously we're going to try to get this playable for beginners. Now I understand when you hear the record you're going to hear all kind of flashy stuff, or when you go to the mega churches you're going to hear all kind of stuff that we're not going to do. But we're going to try to get it arranged in the high beginner intermediate level and still make it sound good. So key is G. 1, 2, look up here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now before we get into this song, let's pick up some voicings on each of those scale degrees, just in case you haven't gone through my beginner series or my intermediate series. I do recommend that. Fish around in my YouTube channel. I think it's something like 3 or 4 years ago now that I put together a series of both beginner and intermediate, takes you from scratch to where we are now. Also, look for the video that says beginners, intermediates you can't play in church, because there I get into some theoretical stuff. These are song examples, but this is kind of a little bit more theory too. So let's find. So if I'm thinking I'm on the 1 chord and I'm a beginner, I'm probably going to play something like this. Or this. Or this. These are just G triads in their various inversions. If I'm more intermediate, I might play this. Or this. My left hand, so my left hand's got a root and either a major 7 or 2 or octaves. I will notice that I can play this as well. I can go to the 3rd and play that B minor over G, B minor 7th over G. That gives me a nice G major 7 sound. Here's my right hand, here's my left hand. Now if I go to the 2 chord, same thing. I'm thinking C major 7 over A. Play it here. Or here. Whatever inversion you like. So there's our voicings for the 2 chord. 3 chord, I can go here. So before you jump into a song, you know what key it's in. It's in the key of C. Get some stock go-to voicings that you don't have to think about in that key. So what am I on? B minor. That's the 3 chord. Or this. So now I'm thinking D major over B bass. D major 7. And we got a C chord. And then that's the 4 chord. We got the 5 chord. Now I'm going to voice this in a certain way because I'm going to use this in the song. This is actually a D9, but pick up this right hand voicing, because we're going to use that later. But there are lots of ways to voice this 5 chord, but this is the one I want you to pick up for right now. 6th chord. That's kind of a G major over E bass, which means I can play it this way as well. I actually love this voicing, probably because of that crunch in the middle. We've discussed that in previous videos. If you got a crunch, put it in the middle and it just blends itself out. That's the 6th chord. When we get to the 7th chord and we got a gospel song, almost always it's a 5/7, almost always. In jazz, different story. You might find a minor 7 flat 5 or a diminished chord there, but in gospel, almost always it's a D chord over F sharp, and then we're back to 1. That's good practice. I didn't mention that in other videos. Is before you jump into a song and you're in your practice room, get a couple of go-to voicings on each scale degree, so you're really not starting from scratch. It's also good ear. If you want to go a little bit further, you can do a couple of common progressions like a 1-6-2-5, 3-6-2-5, that kind of thing, and use those voicings. Now let's get into this song, and we're going to play it as if you're doing solo work, so that we need the melody. So the melody's here because of who you are. Now the first part of the song is 1, 2, 3, and I'm speaking of scale degree. There's the 1. That's the 2 chord. That's the 3 chord. So it's a 1, 2, 3 progression to a 5. So 1, 2, 3, back to 5. And the 5 is there to get me back to 1 again. So let's do that. The only thing funny about this 2 chord is that if you want the melody, so let's try that 1, 2, 3 progression. That's the way the song starts off. So let's try it without the melody and just say somebody's singing it, or a saxophone player is playing it, or the choir is singing it. Now you want to go to your stock voicings. So you can play maybe something like this. So you can go to some of your voicings that we just discussed on that scale degree. We know that the song starts off just walking up the scale. If you were playing the melody, now we have it. Now we got a D chord. Now I played this D7 chord a little bit differently than I did last time, so let's do it the way. So that's the way the song starts off. 1, 2, 3. Now the second time around, we're gonna get more on the circle. We're gonna go here. It's a 1-6-2-5. This time we're gonna go 6th chord. You are. So I'm now on a 2 chord. 1-6-2-5. Now 1-6-2-5 is kind of a requisite chord progression. You should know that in pretty much any key. Let's play a 1-6-2-5 without the melody. So that would be something like this. So go to voicings and then do a 1-6-2-5. Now let's do it with the melody. 1-6-2-5. So that's the first two pieces of the song. Starts off 1-2-3, back to 5, and then a 1-6-2-5. Now we're gonna just go right to the 4 chord. And the song is getting a little bit more dramatic. So we went to the 4. We went to the 5, but we stayed on that pedal point. We've seen that in several songs now. 4. We've seen that over and over and over in gospel. 4, 5 pedal point to the 1. But in this song, a little bit different. We're going to start that way because of. Now we're going to get to the 6th chord by way of a 2-5-1. I'll pause there so you can look that way, get these voicings. So now I'm thinking my destination is E minor, the 6th chord. So I need its 2 chord. If the 5 chord of E is B, happen to be playing a B major 7 flat 9, which is just a diminished chord over B. So let me do that again. So let me back up a little bit. And so the 3rd phrase here is because now I'm on the 6th chord. Where's the 6th chord like to go? 2 chord. And the 2 chord will take me home. Now I'm on the 2 chord, A minor. Now here's that voicing I told you I wanted you to learn. Now I'm on the 5 chord. Now I have a little bit of a deceptive thing going on here. That's a 6th chord. You'd think I was going home, but let me see. Now if I did that, song is over. But if I want to loop it, I would maybe go here. Let's try that again. Now that little interlude right there, that E minor, that's an E minor chord to a D chord. I'm walking down to A major. actually it's an A7 chord. That 7 chord will take me, that A7 will take me to A minor. So what you want to do is practice that little piece over and over again, because it's a loop. I just pulled out one of my little money voicings for this. And that is the A section of the song, because of who you are. So let's go through that just real slow, and then we're going to get the bridge, and we've got this song ready to go. All you got to do is polish it off, put it in the BPMs that you want it in. So we're going to start off on the 1 chord. We're at the beginning now. By the way, I did say that you're either playing with the melody or without the melody. But you can blend those two. Watch this. So I've got the melody established, and I can fill with different versions of my money voicings. Just another little tip for you. 1, 2, 3. Now 1, 6, 2, 5. Now to the 4 chord. 2 is 5. Now we need a 2, 5, 1 to 6. Let me slow down so you might be trying to catch these chords. That's not necessarily a money. This is my money for E minor, but this is the one that puts the melody on the top. I could go and reach up and get this F sharp. That's the 9th, but it's so low that it's not making much of a difference. And that 2, 5, 1 to minor should be practiced. Let's do it again. Why? Because you're gonna see that in other songs. It's like learning these songs are like putting Lego blocks together. You're gonna see that little Lego block over and over again. So you're gonna see this. Also, your ear will recognize that as a 2, 5, 1 to minor. Now we do that. Now we've got a 2, 5, 1 to get us home. It is such a pretty song. Little deception. Do that slow. E minor, we're walking down to a D chord, and then we have an A chord, except for the bass is on C sharp instead of A. So we'll do it one more time. So Make sure you get that little walk. That loops you back to the 2 chord again. Now this chord right here that I'm playing now is the star of the show. This is old school. This is a F chord over G. It's the transition chord. It's a goosebump chord. Play it loud. That you can play an F in your left hand or G. Either one. Why? Because we're setting up, that G chord is setting up the bridge that's going to the 4 chord. And it releases just, and the crowd is just going to be on their feet. So let's go back to this chord. You can play it here. I like it here better. Make sure you hit that chord with some gusto. Jehovah Jireh. Now you want to stay on this C chord, just a different inversion. That's kind of beginner. You can play it here for you intermediates, for beginners. So we're going, if we let's see, Lord, our word to 5. Wow, you can make your own self happy. So you see how you build up and build up and build up, and you release on that 4 chord. If you want to throw a 9th in, you can. You can either do it with your thumb, like that, or you can do it with fingers. Stay on the C chord. Now we're going to walk down the scale with our left hand. C is going to go to B. So I have a G chord in my right hand over a B bass. B on the circle. Now we're thinking circle now. B wants to go to E. E wants to go to A. That's another chord that you want. This is just a pivot chord. It's a C in your right hand and a D in your left hand. Now here comes our favorite chord. C chord, stay here. Now we got that 2-5-1 to E minor again. We talked about that earlier. Now we're 2-5 home, 2-5-1 home. Do you want to end the song or loop it? Let's loop it. Don't have to say much here because I talked about that earlier in the A section. Now let's take this bridge chord by chord, a little bit slower. That's that F chord over G, goosebump chord. You can either play it loud or you can do something like that. melody goes. Jehovah Jireh. Stay there. For you beginners, you can play this. For you more intermediate, play this. Now the bass is walking down. So I have a G over B. To S6 chord. It's actually an A minor 11. But just think A minor and put the melody on there, you'll be fine. Now this chord you're just going to have to remember. It's another one of those pivot chords. That's a C chord over D. And here comes our star of the show. This time we're going to go from G. Now we got a straight G chord. Oh, stay on the C chord. Sorry. That's why we practice. Now a 2-5-1 to the 6. Notice that I have a little bit of a habit here that when I'm on these dominant chords, my right hand has a diminished chord. And I just like that sound. Now we need it. We're on the 6th chord now. 6 loves to go to 2, and 2 will take us home. We're in the key of G, so we need a float chord. So, watch my right hand. See these notes here? Right hand doesn't have to move. It's just your left hand's moving. Let's go to a 6th chord. Now, I think in about 4 or 5 videos now I've discussed this voicing. Now you've got it in several keys. Now, you use this when the song is over. There's your flow voicing for the key of G. Any song in the key of G, that's your right hand. Your left hand is going to change the texture of it. Maybe you walk up. Beautiful song. Okay, one more time through, and then hopefully you have what you need to go to your practice room. Take it to your practice room, get it all smoothed out, and then take it to your church. So here we go. Because of who you are. 1, 2, 3. Here's the 3. Now we have a 1, 6, 2, 5. advanced there. That was a D7 sharp 5 sharp 9, maybe a little 2 veins. Now we're going to go to the 4 chord. Dramatic pedal point. When you stay, pedal points have an effect. They just do. Now we need a 2 5 1 to 6. Beautiful. So these chord voicings are not flashy, but they, to my ear, they sound pretty good. Six wants to go to 2. Two wants to go to 5. Let's do that deceptive thing. 6, 5. Now, I know that my left hand is on C sharp or D flat, but that's not the chord. The chord is A. Except for it has the 3rd in the bass. And the only reason we're doing that is it's because it's a walk. So make sure you get that. Now that A dominant chord drops to A minor. G. I guess if we looked at that from a G perspective, it's like a G7 sus. So that would be the 4th, that's the sus, there's the 7th, and that's the 9th. This is a beautiful voice, but that's a little bit too much analysis. Just think F over G. So now that sets up the 4 chord. Stay here. Now we're walking down the bass and we got a G over B. It's almost like the key changed to C, because if you're thinking C, that's a 5 over 7. That B goes to E. We're on the circle now. Here's that A minor, and here's our low pivot chord. 2 pivot chords. Oh, sorry, we had G over G. Left hand stays the same, that's why I just messed up. One more time. Stay. 2 5 1 to 6. I think you got it by now. See how I did an arpeggio there? Did a little arpeggio just to fill space. And I just don't want to let it go. Backdoor percussion. I talked about that a little little bit earlier, we're coming into G from the back door. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So real quick, my target is G. I go down 2 whole steps. So there's 1, 2, and I play some kind of E flat major chord. I go up a whole step and I play an F major chord. And then I end up coming in the back door. Hopefully that helps somebody out to work that out and get it arranged to play in your church. Nothing really flashy or fancy. This is within your grasp as a high beginner or intermediate pianist. And also enjoy this song. This is Mike in Detroit. Hope it helps somebody, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.